22 days ago, 24 stood tall and stepped forward to compete in your inaugural 2022 iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. With 6 weeks in the books, just a few still stand remaining and looking to stamp their foot on the throttle as we build towards Championship Week in just 7 days' time. Welcome to the rolling hills of Michigan, welcome to Bark River, and welcome to round 7 of 2022. My name is Arjuna Kankipati, alongside as always with the one and only Joshua Lee. And Joshua, as always, before the championship drivers get us underway, we got the All-Stars ready to have some fun, and we let them loose on one of the most technical, difficult tracks on our schedule with 900 horsepower and four-wheel drive to save them.
Yeah, compared to where we were a couple of weeks ago when the All-Stars came here to this track, they were in the Pro 2 Lights, which were two-wheel drive and much, much slower than even the two-wheel drive Pro 2 normal counterparts. And now they've got a lot of horsepower under them and four-wheel drive. It's going to be interesting to see how these drivers navigate.
What a finish it was as well the last time we came here, as Josh Fox and Tommy Holman banged doors to the line in the air as Josh Fox took the closest victory of the championship season. Let's look at the schedule. Let's see where the All-Stars have been, where they still have left to go, because of course next time we return to where the road began. We go back to Crandon, but we go with the Beetle Light. It's going to be a very fun sort of an affair. Today with the Pro 4 truck though, of course, we mixed and matched Pro 2 Light 400 horsepower two-wheel drive and Pro 4 truck 900 horsepower and four-wheel drive. We return to the four-wheel drive nature of the track today. And Josh, talk us through Bark River. Plenty of jumps, plenty of technical areas where setting your car up is going to be important. But as with all of these short courses, commitment, physicality, it becomes important as well.
And this track is just really, really unique. I mean, you look at it from the air and it doesn't look like Crandon. It doesn't look like Wild West and Wild Horse Pass, which you can draw a lot of conclusions in between those two. This is a track all in its own. You mentioned the technicality, Arjuna, and having to set yourself up. You can see through turns 2 and 3, they go through a whoop section there, then through a left and right hand chicane, and then right there is the biggest jump in all of iRacing off-road. Once you slam onto the dirt, you're already preparing for that right-hander of turn 6 immediately as you hit the ground.
Of the 4 tracks this season, 2 are long, 2 are short. Both Crandon and Bark River are 1.5 miles in length, one with 8 turns, one with 12. That's what's in store for us here today. What a venue it is. Only the toughest and the longest track to close out the championship season. But with that said, let's run you down through the starting grid for the first race of the evening as a familiar duo, Luke Knupp and Zachary Drapkin, get ready to do it all over again. The Ultra Motorsport 29, the Redline Oil 56 will take us to the green with Zach Knowles, who's put in some hard work behind the scenes, building a lot of the graphics for this series. Joining us in his pepperoni pizza number 99, Adam Briggs in the 777 for Next Level Racing alongside Ryan Burden and Blake Reynolds, 5th and 6th positions, while Keenan Kuss and Trevor Teal will roll from alongside each other on row number 4. Brendan Lichtenberg and Wes Graham complete the top 10, with Christopher Strickland and the Penny Arcade number 18 rolling from 11th, where he'll see Jim DeChamp next to him in the 111 for Nitro Circus Sim Racing by Next Level Racing. Just a couple more cars in our field, a little bit smaller than we're accustomed to, with Mikey Lawrence, Justin Melillo 13th and 14th, and Michael Cozy Jr. Lots of work for him to do from the very back of the field. If you like this type of racing, you like anything available on iRacing, because we've got it all to do across the world of motorsports. Head over to iRacing.com today. New memberships are 40% off. Get on your way to the virtual checkered flag. Of course, the eyeballs will be focused on Knupp and Drapkin doing battle once more. Big missing name for me, Josh Lee, is Elliott Watson. The last couple of weeks, he has really picked up the pace. We won't see him out on track today as we take a look at the race information.
Yeah, the All-Star Series has remained a very, very constant of this campaign. 2 races, both of them being 7 minutes, and you can see that total invert from race number 1. The World Championship will have an 8-truck invert for the start of race 1 and the start of race 2, but here it is a full field invert for race 2, which is going to put, most likely, Drapkin and Knupp on the back foot in race 2.
And it's the last time that this invert is going to be crucial, because next time we go racing, it's Crandon, it's the Land Rush start. If you get inverted inside of the top 10, you're still on the front row of the grid, so keep that in mind. But it is the last time that if Knupp and Drapkin control the destiny, the tempo at the front of the field, that they'll have to do the hard slog again. Still a couple of corners to go before onto the throttle we'll get, and racing commencing at Bark River. But we think back to the championship series finish here. Knupp and Drapkin, two drivers that could have been fighting with the 24 best across of the sim racing universe. Instead, they'll do it for us in the All-Stars, Josh.
And as they get ready to go racing, you can see them working their way through that whoop section, and they'll go over to the left, a couple more small jumps, and then they'll see that green flag.
The most technical, demanding track of the season. The All-Stars are ready, though, to have some fun. Let it all out. We're racing in the rolling hills of Michigan. Good start from Knupp as he'll force Drapkin wide and goes off the track. Does the red line, all 56. He'll rejoin, bully his way past Zach Knowles, who on debut runs in third, will run the wall, try and hold off Blake Reynolds, who looks to the inside, but it was a nice, tidy start. Knupp leads from Drapkin.
Knowles falling like a rock as Reynolds and Briggs now able to get by the driver now sitting in fifth. And don't count out Zach Knowles. You can see him making a move to the inside of that next level racing entry on Adam Briggs, trying to beat his way around for that fourth spot. He has competed in many an off-road championship in league competition as well as rallycross competition. He knows his way around the dirt road license class.
And of course, because on the side of this car there's no pineapple, I am rooting for him. Let us know what you think. Pineapple on pizza. Josh, we've become good friends last year or so. We're about to ruin that. What are your thoughts?
I am indifferent. I won't personally eat it, but if you want pineapple on pizza, go ahead. It's not my place.
I'll allow that one. Oh, Knowles. Well, Briggs will look to the inside. Knowles got checked up behind Reynolds. If contact in that battle for fourth as the team general tire, number 66, will control the battle for third. As, of course, Knupp and Drapkin, we've seen them do this before. Not the last time we'll see it either. They break away at the front of the field. Bit of a train stacked up behind the 66 car. Blake Reynolds doing it all yesterday in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola All-Star race on the streets of Chicago. Finished inside of the top two in the open race, transferred to the main. Fun night of action for him, goes from the tarmac to the dirt, and now, of course, gets ready to see what his teammates will do later on tonight. Reynolds has won a couple of these races before, though. He's no slouch when it comes to the dirt.
And Arjuna, I think you can draw a little bit of a comparison between his time here in the All-Star Series and his performance in the Open last night, because while watching it at home, I saw a lot of similarities in the way that you had to make passes on the Chicago street course versus make passes here on Bark River and in these off-road tracks. You have to be physical, you have to commit to each pass, and I think Reynolds, running through this All-Star Series, got used to doing that and was able to bring that to his next-gen NASCAR Cup Series machine in the All-Star race.
What a view this is on board with Blake Reynolds in that 66 machine. Got a view from our championship leader, Connor Barry, in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series race. Got his first laps in the real-life Bark River just this past weekend. Shared it with his competitors. Was really interesting to see the physicality of these cars in real world as they go over these jumps. Their heads getting thrown all over the shop. So much weight transfer going on. Really cool insight, and of course we mentioned with Knupp and Drapkin's real-world ability and the fact that they are quick on the sim. One of our championship series drivers, Tommy Horman, double race victory in the Nitro Rallycross Next class just this past weekend as he looks to build to try and close out 2022 with a little bit of pride. Mikey Lawrence, Michael Cozy Jr., 11th and 12th, they fight hammer and tong. Inside of the top 10, it is very much stagnated. They're finding it difficult to pass, but up in the air, Cozy Jr. looks for a way on through.
He sees Mikey Lawrence in front, who Lawrence has been one of the faster machines in this All-Star Championship, and now trying to get inside of that top 10. Of course, the driver with Lawrence Equipment, his own company on the hood, looking to represent everybody at Lawrence Equipment well as he runs 11th. Another one of these league racers that know their way around these virtual off-road tracks, is a mistake from Christopher Strickland, puts him into the outside wall, and that moves Mikey Lawrence into the top 10, and now Strickland is on the outside looking in.
I've seen a rotating cast of drivers in that number 18. The latest of them, Strickland, here today. He'll go to the outside of Cemetery Turn. I'd open the door for Cozy Jr. to fight back down low. Won't happen there. Brendan Lichtenberg will lose one, maybe two, as the i5G number 10 machine lost out a little bit of ground. I really enjoy this onboard view. You get the dirt thrown onto the visor as we jump on board with Christopher Strickland. You see the way the car pitches around, and while we jump on board in 11th, they're side by side for the lead. Knupp trying to fend off the advances of Drapkin, who throws himself out wide, way out of the groove. Knupp will hold on for now, but they are starting to pick up the pace at the front of the field.
Could not perform that slide job well for the number 56. Just went a little bit too wide off of that jump and ended up kind of in the mess on the outside. And how about the 29 now of Luke Knupp? He gets into those marbles and pushes himself into the brick wall. Still side by side for the race lead as they go over the left-handed jump and advantage to Drapkin.
Drapkin tried that at the very start of the race, but he was thrown a bit too wide, overcommitted, ran off the track. This time was able to stay on the track, but Knupp got the over-under. Will hold the lead as an attempted slide job back from the red line, all 56. Great fighting as they come in towards the S's. Drapkin finally gets it done in the air. New race leader is the 56.
And you can see him already trying to pitch himself for this corner, and he's going to outbrake himself. Completely misses the apex, but he gets the crossover move done. And now Knupp on the inside, both of them almost synchronized, getting set up for this left-hander in mid-air off of that whoop section. And how about Zach Knowles? Do not count him out. He has raced with Knupp and Drapkin for multiple seasons in leagues. He knows how these two race, and I argue that he's almost equally paced with them once he's in race condition.
Remember with Drapkin, he was the standout of the first couple of rounds of the championship, and then Knupp started to join us, I guess is the way to put it, found his footing, started to make it an interesting fight. It's been the 56 versus the 29. Sometimes Elliott Watson joining the fun. Tyler Hudson stole a win. Blake Reynolds has had a couple of successes as well. Because of the full invert, Drapkin and Knupp not always able to work their way forward. A statement of intent though from Zach Knowles in that 99 machine, who ran away from Blake Reynolds after getting the move done on the Team General Tire machine. How patient will he want to be? The clock about to expire. White flag will be in hand next time at the line. So running out of time, running out of ground. If anyone wants to make the pass stick, Knupp still leads in the battle at the front with Drapkin and Knowles right behind.
Working their way through that left-hander. Knupp not going to have a ton of time left to defend. Only about 3 more corners left, and this might be the last opportunity for Drapkin in a passing zone. Tries to look low, can't get there. Knowles is going to try and look for P2.
Miscalculated where we were in the race. It will be checkered flag in hand, but Barney the flag man this time out. Through the whoops, through the penultimate corner they'll go. They were side by side just a couple of weeks ago in the championship series, but Luke Knupp will leave no door open for Zachary Drapkin as the 29 roars to victory lane once more. Great drive from Drapkin and Knowles as well, with the top 3 split by just over 1.1 seconds. With the full invert still yet to come, the chaos is about to descend on Bark River.
Up with yet another beautiful win and yet another great pass to get in front of the number 56. But his debut in the All-Star Series, how about the 099 of Zach Knowles? I'm excited to see how he's going to cut his way through the field with his fellow racers, Knupp and Drapkin.
We've seen that both Drapkin and Knupp, if luck goes their way, they make the right choices, can decimate their way through without too much damage being inflicted to those around them. They'll have to do it again. But Luke Knupp, yet another race victory. Zachary Drapkin, yet another podium. A streak that's been going strong since the start of this 2022 Off-Road All-Star Invitational. Zachary Knowles on debut gets onto the podium. Blake Reynolds, Adam Briggs, the rest of the top 5. Ryan Burden, the best of the Traction GG machines today, with Trevor Teal behind him in the Nitro Circus Star Car. Keenan Kusin, Mikey Lawrence, and Christopher Strickland make up the rest of the top 10. Just 5 more cars, all finishing the race on the lead lap. Great to see Michael Cozy Jr. in front of Wes Graham and Brendan Lichtenberg, with Jim DeChamp and Justin Melillo making up the 15 cars that came across the line after our first 6 laps of action here tonight at the Bark River International Raceway. The full invert will make things interesting. Can Zachary Knowles spoil the party, or Luke Knupp as well for the 56 Redline All machine of Zachary Drapkin? We'll find out in a couple of moments' time. That's up next after a message from our partners at Vision Wheels. Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network. Welcome back to Racespot TV and your 2022 iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. iRacing is delighted to partner up with Vision Wheels, the nation's leading provider of custom wheels for cars and trucks. Vision Wheels is proud to present the Vision Wheel Pole Award given to the driver in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series that posts the fastest lap in the qualifying session every race weekend. My name is Arjuna Kankipati, delighted to be joined alongside by the one and only Joshua Lee for today's penultimate round of the championship, brought to you by Big Green Egg. One race done for the All-Stars, one still to go. Luke Knupp and Zachary Drapkin, another race where they finished 1 and 2. It's another race now where they'll have to work their way forward with the full invert of the grid, looking to shake things up. It will be Justin Melillo that will take us to the green, alongside on the front row the 111 of Jim DeChamp. Brendan Lichtenberg and Wes Graham have been familiar friends on the grids here over the course of this season. They'll line up on row 2 with Michael Cozy Jr. and Christopher Strickland right behind them, 5th and 6th positions. Mikey Lawrence and Keenan Kusin, 7th and 8th. Rolling from 9th will be Trevor Teal. Ryan Burden in the final of our Traction GG machines makes up the rest of the top 10. Adam Briggs and Blake Reynolds, the 777 and the 66 for Next Level Racing and for Team General Tire, find themselves in front of race 1 of the night's podium sitters. Zachary Knowles in front of Zachary Drapkin and Luke Knupp. Just 15 cars, it's a smaller grid, but by no means is the full invert going to be any less chaotic than what we've become accustomed to over the previous 6 rounds of the championship. If you like this type of racing, you like anything that iRacing has to offer across of the diverse world of motorsports, head over to iRacing.com where new memberships are 40% off. Get on your road to the virtual checkered flag as soon as you're able to. Joshua Lee, it's going to be fun with the inverted cars looking to work their way forward. They weren't fighting so hard at the front of the field. There was plenty of fighting in the mid-pack, and now the likely winners have to work their way through a gaggle of cars that won't want to give up easily.
Well, how about our patented sleeper pick, Justin Melillo, starting on the front row here. I think he's going to do a really good job at defending. We've seen that before from him, but just looking through the back of the field, I mean, you have Blake Reynolds, Zach Knowles, Drapkin, and Knupp back there. You have Adam Briggs, who has also been quick. We get a great look at that pink Traction GG, number 53 of Justin Melillo. Been very vocal about how much he's loved racing in this series. I think he'd love to grab a win in the All-Stars before the championship is over.
Justin's a great place to stay up to date on Twitter if you want to be involved across of your iRacing World Championships. Of course, with the World of Outlaws late models picking up now on a Monday night. Always busy action because you got Mondays with World of Outlaws, Tuesdays eNASCAR, and at least until next Wednesday. Wednesday's your home for the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. They'll roll once again. It's a half a pace lap. It's not too long, but opportunities for drivers to steal their minds, to steal their focus. Only 2 races to go for these All-Stars after this. We've had some fun, but drivers, whether they are real or virtual, are serious in nature. They are competitive. There's only 3 more races, Josh, for drivers to put their mark on this All-Star Invitational.
And of course, everybody wants to do that. Who's going to be the next new name to enter victory lane? That's not Drapkin or Knupp. As the pace truck comes off, Arjuna, let's see if anybody up near the front, Melillo, DeChamp, Lichtenberger, the Best 88 as he's known, can take to the checkered flag.
We've got about 3 corners before the green flag will actually fly, but the field technically is in control of the Traction GG machine of Justin Melillo as he slows down. Works through that whoop section, so technical. You can see cars use the banking, especially when the Championship Series drivers will get underway. Just 3 races to go in this All-Star Invitational. 3 opportunities left for drivers to make a statement here on the iRacing Esports Network. DeChamp, Melillo, get us underway at Bark River once more. It's a good start from DeChamp, who's going to hold strong around the outside. Lichtenberg maybe thinking of picking up the pieces. Almost 6 wide. 1 car off and already going up and over as Ryan Burden's Traction GG number 91 finds itself on its roof. Knupp bullying his way past on Brendan Lichtenberg. A lot more physical a start than we've become accustomed to in this All-Star Invitational.
And unfortunately, we talked a little bit too much about him, Arjuna, I think, as Justin Melillo goes way off track. It ends up now down P14. Look at who's making a run for the lead. Zachary Drapkin from back row, now to fighting for the lead with Mikey Lawrence and taking the lead in just 4 corners. Unbelievable for the 56.
What a start, what a monster of a launch he would have got, and then the state of mind to put the car where it needed to be to get the moves done. Canup only up to 6th. Knowles is up to 4th though. Watch for the 56 to try and break away. Lawrence and Reynolds, some buffer between Drapkin and the other sitters on the podium last time by. Plenty of movement 4th on back as they jockey for track position. What an electric start that we had to this race, as it looks like potentially Chris Strickland bundled down. 2 cars already in pit road. Ryan Burden, we saw him go up and over, but Michael Cozy Jr. in the Altus Esports 99 retires here at Bark River.
Ooh, and getting physical back there between 2 of our Pro 4s, and now both of them almost sideways. That looked to be Lichtenberg and I believe Luke Canup, as Canup gets very sideways, trying to get to the inside of Keenan Kuzin, but Next Level Racing's Adam Briggs has some other plans for him as he tried to look to the inside, but Canup only up to P7. Drapkin's been able to take the lead. How about Blake Reynolds to 3rd, and Lichtenberg with a bit of a mistake there coming through the left-hander.
Yeah, ran wide, there was a bump. Confused if it wasn't a slowdown, because he definitely gained a lasting advantage to bring some race control verbiage into the broadcast booth. Briggs in the 777 though will throw to the outside, try and launch it over the whoops. Not going to get it done as Lichtenberg will park it on the apex. Separation growing to the group in front of them. Right on board with Drapkin, and look at the instincts on the race start. Looks down low on, I believe that will be one of our Team General Tire cars. Follows Blake Reynolds all the way to the inside. You saw the smorgasbord of chaos. Drapkin was having none of it to 3rd in the space of just 2 corners.
We take a look at a replay between, looks to be the 2 of them making a little bit of contact, and this is for the battle for the lead actually on lap number 1. We're on board with Zachary Drapkin here in his red line oil entry, and got up to 2nd place, took a look to the inside of Mikey Lawrence, and he had that grip in that Pro 4 to use that inside line and take that lead over, and now with 1.7 seconds, make it 2 seconds now to the good over the 85. We look back towards the middle of the field here, Arjuna, and Trevor Teal. I've heard that there is going to be a return of a certain costume next week at Crandon, so we'll have to make sure we get our director Hugo Louise on that for next week at Crandon, because he's going to join the Zoom call and he's going to be wearing a certain costume.
Love it. For those that watch the iRacing All-Star Invitational in 2021, you might know what we're talking about. Otherwise, iRacing Esports Network next Wednesday. Do not miss what's bound to be not just a fun championship finale, but the reappearance of a certain costume broken out by the one and only Trevor Teal. In front of him, Luke Canup finally gets past Mikey Lawrence as they come into the final section of the track. Finds himself 4.5 back from Zachary Drapkin, who is on a Sunday drive to victory, you'd have to say right now. 4 clear of Zach Knowles in the 99. It was all about the start, that instinct that saw him duck down low, follow Blake Reynolds to the front of the field. Reynolds now trying to maybe work on Trevor Teal as they battle side by side. 2 very familiar cars, 2 very similar cars. They've done it before, they'll do it again. Here they come, up to the jump they come once more.
Side by side as the Nitro Circus entry of Teal gonna get the best of Blake Reynolds there as we look on board in his sim rig from P5 currently. Reynolds with a bit of a tap to that outside wall, gets his angle right for that corner, looks to the inside of the 72, but all 3 of these red and black marked Pro 4s stay in line, 4th, 5th, and 6th, as Knowles and Canup are gonna be in a battle soon for 2nd, and Drapkin is checking out with just north of 2 minutes left in this race.
Should be, what, 2 laps to go next time at the line, so we are winding down the laps. And it's clear if Trevor Teal, you saw the background of his sim racing center, he seems to be a fan of a certain blue and gold affiliated rally team. That wasn't obvious at all. Teal and Lawrence still fighting for 4th, Briggs and Lichtenberg for 8th, Kusin and Reynolds for 6th. Battles all over the track, none for podium positions though. Keep that in mind. Teal will go wide through turn 1, run himself off the track. Also running wide is the Traction GG machine. They're always pushing the issue through turn 1. It's so easy to do. And now Kusin into the wall.
That's a hard hit into the guardrail for the 03. Move Reynolds barely. He had a couple inches between himself and Kuzin when he covered off that spot, but the 66 goes to P6 as here is Luke Canup getting very physical with Zach just ruined Knopf's race as he falls to a ton of momentum and giving Zach Knowles almost a half-second gap for second place.
There's no pineapple on that pizza. You can't try and perform a citizen's arrest for crimes against pizza. So, bit weird the contact there, and as they come around the final sector once more, it will be white flag out this time by. So there's no chance of victory for Knowles or Knopf. It's all about holding on to second, and for the number 99, showing that on debut, he could fight with the best of them. Maybe one more. We talked about Drapkin. We've talked about Knopf maybe making a run at the Championship Series for 2023. Well, why not the 99?
I talked about it a little bit earlier, Arjuna, how Zach Knowles, multiple seasons of league competition under his belt, and also an upcoming season of league competition that he's looking to compete in. He knows his way around these pro trucks. He knows what to do. So I think Zach Knowles, if he gets into the qualifying series and makes a run at this World Championship, I think he's got a pretty good shot, as we see another driver that, if he would run the qualifying series next year, I have no doubt in my mind he'd be one of the top 24 in the world. It's Zachary Drapkin. White flag is out. He's looking to take the checkered flag this time by.
We were talking about it before we went live within our broadcast team about the relegation situation. The top 12 retain the championship licenses next year. 12 spots will be open for drivers to qualify their way through. Importance to finishing inside of the top 12 when we get racing in a couple of minutes? Yes, for drivers outside, they'll be watching and thinking, my time may come in 2023. But for Drapkin, it's victory once more. Luke Knopf has made life difficult for the Red Line All 56, but Zachary Drapkin, with the lap ones of all lap ones, rocketing his way to the lead and not looking back after that.
I still can't believe he did that in like a half a lap, Arjuna. He got up to the lead going into the left-hander in the second sector of this track. That is just unbelievable. And there's a little bit of a love shot from the number 66, so Reynolds taking the front quarter panel off.
It's virtual racing. The damage bill is not real, although for some maybe it should be. Here's a look at those race results. So just 2 more races to go for these All-Stars. What fun it has been as they get the stage set for the Championship Series drivers. But it is yet another victory for Zachary Knowles in the Red Line All 56. For Zachary Drapkin, excuse me. For Zachary Knowles, it's double podium delight on debut in the ZKD Designs number 99 in front of Luke Knopf, who tried, just not enough here today, finishing 3rd in race number 2. Trevor Teal and Blake Reynolds make up the rest of the top 5, with Keenan Kusin, Mikey Lawrence, Adam Briggs, Brendan Lichtenberg, and Christopher Strickland making up the top 10 in the second fully inverted race of the evening. Jim DeChamp, Wes Graham, Justin Malillo. 2 of those cars started on the front row of the grid. They both finished, though, in the case of the 111 and the 53, outside of the top 10. Bird and Cozy Jr. making up the field of 15. As the All-Stars vacate the track, it is time to get down and dirty with the Championship Series. The best that iRacing has to offer, getting ready to go in Bark River, is coming up next on the iRacing Esports Network.
There's a place where fire and flavor are celebrated, where grilling traditions and new techniques are perfected. Here in Big Green Egg Country, you can grill it, roast it, smoke it, or bake it. It's the most versatile grill you'll ever own. Simple delight, easy to use, comes with a free lifetime warranty. Have it delivered to your door by a certified dealer in your community and start enjoying the ultimate cooking experience. Shop online for home delivery at biggreenegg.com. That's biggreenegg.com. "42 days ago, 24 drivers entered the ring
as hopefuls in your 2022 iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. Today, just 42 laps remain as we get set to crown champion number 1 in the iRacing history books in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. Today's coverage of this penultimate round is brought to you by Big Green Egg, partners with the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series, to hand out the Big Green Egg Green Flag Award. My name is Arjuna Kankipati. As always, on a Wednesday evening, live on the iRacing Esports Network and RaceSpot TV. Delighted you have joined us. Alongside is the one and only Joshua Lee. And Josh, in 7 days' time, will know who is champion number 1. There are 2 that are left to the top. It is all about Keaton Swain trying to chase down Connor Barry. But there are plenty of other drivers looking to end the season on a high. 12 will emerge at the end of this season, remember, with licenses for 2023.
There's a lot of drivers around that cut line that are starting to talk about the relegation and having to run the qualifying series again next year. But Barry and Swain at the front, I've seen this story many a times, but I've not seen it with stakes like this. There's so much riding for these 2 drivers, so much on the line, and we only have 4 points paying rounds left to tell this story.
It's fantastic. A maximum of 210 points to be handed out. We'll talk about the point structure in a couple of moments' time. Let's talk about the journey, the road that we're going on as we build up to our championship finale in just 7 days' time. It started at Crandon, June 22nd. The road will end where it began, on August the 10th, back in Wisconsin and back at Crandon. Today, we head to Bark River, though, a technical track and the home of the closest ever championship series finish, when Josh Fox and Tommy Holman, as we got to the halfway stage of this championship, battled all the way to the checkered flag. It was Josh Fox that ended up on top, but plenty of drivers showed up strong last time and look to do so once more again. Josh Lee, talk us through Bark River.
What a unique track Bark River really is. I mean, we talked about it before the All-Star Series, but just taking a look at it from the air, you go off the start-finish line, you're immediately into a jump, not only a jump, but a right-hander jump as well. Then the sweeping turns 2 and 3, the whoop section exiting those corners, the massive jump out of the left-right chicane, and then it's a hard right-hander into turn number 6, right off of a jump as well, and then that entire third sector. I mean, you want to talk about beating and banging for passes. That's how you have to make passes in 7, 8, 9, 10, and even the final corners at 11 and 12.
We saw how difficult it was with the All-Stars to get moves done. 4-wheel drive means you can be saved from your mistakes, as that 4-wheel drive nature will kick in to help you out. Let's look, though, at the championship standings with just those 42 laps left to play. It is 17 points that will split Connor Barry, Keaton Swain. 2 drivers with real-world experience, but fighting at a level that has never before been seen on iRacing before. Yes, some of these drivers have fought on national television, but for a world championship, the stakes are raised higher. Yes, Josh Edmondson, Felix Roy, you can mathematically make a case for them to fight for the championship, but Barry and Swain have been so consistently finishing inside, not just the top 10, but the top 5. It is those 2 that look to fight, and they fight with a point structure that rewards consistency. It starts in qualifying. 5 points paid out to our Vision Wheel Pole Award winner. And yes, we have the top 8 invert after qualifying. That means pole sees you start back in 8th, but if you work your way forward, 50 points awaits in the CBR winner's circle, and we do it again with a second top 8 invert for the second race of the evening. Of course, on the road to $25,000, $10,000 is on the line for our series champion. But Josh, you look at this points total, you look at the results of Swain and Barry, what stands out to you?
And honestly, I just look at how many points are on the board for passes made during the race. Every pass is 2 points. We talk about a top 8 invert. Well, if Connor Barry qualifies fastest, starts 8th. If Swain starts further up, we talk about a Connor Barry 8th place finish and a Keaton Swain win. That is going to be 14 points made up in the way of Keaton Swain. Guess what? He just moved that points difference down to 3 points heading into the second race of the night.
And we will keep you up to date with live points. We will keep you up to date on your championship situation. One driver that's not fighting for a championship, but one driver that has had some success, has drunk the champagne this past weekend. Tommy Horman, our privateer entry in the iRacing.com yellow and red, entered this championship with 5 iRacing Rallycross World Championship wins and now a double Nitro Rallycross next race winner. Started the season off at Liddon Hill at the very start of this championship with a double podium. We've seen Tommy in the Rallycross World Championship have plenty of speed, winning speed. In these trucks, it's fair to say that he's had pace, but he hasn't had consistency. But Tommy Horman very much deserves the joy of victory that he's been soaking in the last couple of days.
It's great to see yet another driver use what they've learned in the sim and what they can do really well, which for Tommy Horman is that dirt road license class, and take that into the real world. And how about that shot? That is an amazing shot capture to Tommy Horman, celebrating that victory. It
is the type of pictures where dreams are created. Of course, Tommy, champion in Rally X Nordic Supercars Light in 2021, competed in the Rallycross World Championship last year under the banner of Set Esports, won those races for Set Promotion. With that said, though, it's time to go racing. What a joyful day it is going to be as we take a look at your CBR starting grid. Tony Latin-Mackie has endured some difficult days in this Off-Road Championship Series, but qualifying in 8th will see him start his first race of the evening from the best spot possible. Alongside is the proverbial bridemaid, with Josh Edmondson second place, too many times to count, looking for that elusive race victory. Felix Roy and Alex Bergeron looking to work forward after victories this season from row 2. Nicolas Dachelet and Killian Delomo 5th and 6th positions. The championship leaders qualified first and second. One extra point will go the way of Connor Barry as he gets his second Vision Wheel Pole Award of the season, but Keaton Swain and Connor Barry will see themselves line up alongside one another. Connor Parisi and Trenton Browley make up the rest of the top 10, with Cody Retzlaff and Josh Fox, the winner in dramatic fashion just a couple of weeks ago here, starting back in 12th. Quintin Delomo, Christopher Plumley, 13th and 14th, with Tommy Horman, Crystal King, row 8. Tom Grady, Cam Peterson, 17th and 18th position. Peterson, not normal to see him struggle that much in qualifying. Proudfoot and Miller through the top 20, with Jeffrey Larson and Tyson Miller, the Terminator, making up the 23 cars getting ready to rumble here today. For Tony Latin-Mackie, it doesn't get much better than this. Starting at the front of an iRacing World Championship Series race. If you think you can do it, if you think anything on iRacing stands out as something you'd want to try, head over to iRacing.com. New memberships, 40% off. Get on your road to the virtual checkered flag here today. Keaton Swain, Connor Barry, 7th and 8th alongside one another. We counted out Josh Edmondson at the start of this show, thinking that maybe he couldn't do too much. But if Swain, if Barry come into trouble, if Edmondson holds at the front of the field, the championship complexion could be swung on its head, Josh Lee, as we look at our race information.
2 races as always tonight, 11 laps for both of these races, 24 trucks on the grid for both. We have inverted the top 8 from qualifying, and we'll invert our race number 1 results to make that field for race number 2. And just looking at the live points where they currently sit on the starting grid without taking the green flag yet, Arjuna, Edmondson sits 55 points back from current leader Connor Barry. He's close. If anything happens to Swain and Barry, if they both end up maybe taking each other out or just both wrecking out, then that's going to blow this championship door wide open, because as long as Edmondson can keep that gap, he's keeping enough insurance where that anything happens to the 2 championship rivals and he can swoop in and get that spot. But with still 200 points on the line, in theory, we can go all the way down to 9th place at Christopher Plumley and still find a championship hopeful.
Okay, let's not get that ludicrous. But let's put some context into the mix for our viewers, right? For Connor Barry, he's had one race outside of the top 10, and it was the one where he had contact. He was trying to be aggressive, yes, but aggressive in the right way. Didn't work out for him. He dropped down the order. For Keaton Swain, 12 races, 12 top 10s, and while he's only finished in the top 5 8 times, he's been on the podium 7 times. These two have been the class of the field in consistency and in overall pace week in, week out.
You want to talk about consistent pace, you have to talk about Connor Berry, but you can also talk about Keaton Swain. I mean, just looking at his results, only 2 finishes outside the top 10 this entire season. Both of them came at Wild Horse. That's only slightly beat by the 1 finish outside of the top 10 for Connor Berry at Bark River when he finished 18th.
Tony Latin-Mackey, best qualifying coming into today, 10th. Qualified in 8th. It's only 2 positions higher, but with the top 8 invert, good enough to see him lead us to the green in a season where he started on average just inside of the top 20. Josh Lee, a quick prediction from you as the pace car gets ready to pull to the side. We get ready to go racing. 4 races left to go in this 2022 season.
Something has to give. Who is going to make that major mistake? Will either of them even end up making a mistake? Well, the ending sprint to the championship starts right here at Bark River. This is going to be both interesting and exciting.
Are we in for something a little bit nutty? Are we in for a day where any thoughts on the championship gets turned on its head, get thrown for a number? It will be Tony Latin-Mackey and Josh Edmondson who get us underway for race 13 in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series, and already drama. They rack it towards turn number 1. Latin-Mackey will get away nice and cleanly. Has anyone in the championship picture been picked up in disaster? Barry looks strong on the inside. Swain almost 4 wide as they run through turn 2.
Swain gets stuck between a falling Alex Bergeron. He's able to make up a spot, but Connor Berry up into P4. An absolutely fantastic start for this blue number CBR number 2 machine, as they're still 4 and 3 wide. Bergeron way to the outside as the 112 continues to fall, now outside the top 15.
How did he miss that structure? But I think it didn't matter. He eventually got pushed wide, and Bergeron did go off the track. Up and over! Up and over will go one of your cars. It's Tom Grady in the 535. But what a chaotic start to this race. One of the more dramatic starts that we've had over the 12 races already in the books. Round 13 is an unlucky 13. Keaton Swain has held on, still in 6th, with Barry up the road in 4th.
Tony Latin-Mackey pulls away at the front. How about Felix Roy not a second? Nicholas Dachalet is there as well as Christopher Plumley almost going up and over that dirt berm on the outside of the final couple of corners. How about Tommy Hallman from Real World back to the virtual, now knocking on the door of the number 36, looking for P11 as Plumley looks for a top 10, trying to get by Connor Parisi, the Rallycross now turned off-road driver in front of him in the number 11.
And at the front, Dachalet's in 3rd. Best finish so far this season, 8th. Felix Roy has won before. He sits tucked up in 2nd. Tony Latin-Mackey, best finish of 15th, continues to lead the way as the laps start to tick away. Working lap 2 of 11. It's 3/10 that splits the top 2. A further 2nd of separation to the train that sees Dachalet's rear view mirror filled with the championship leader. There's the replay of the start, and you can see it's like Edmondson got a touch from behind as he tried to get onto the power. Look at him go up and over. Poor Josh Edmondson could do nothing in that situation as he drops the tail of the field.
That's another just bad luck race for Josh Edmondson. He's had a couple too many of those, and that's putting him out of the running for the championship. Just as we sit right now, he fell to 5th. Felix Roy, who sits in 2nd, has gained his way to P3 as Connor Berry looks for yet another podium finish in 12 starts this season. He's got 6 of those, looking to continue the over 50% podium percentage for Connor Berry in the 2 as he goes way wide, cuts back to the inside, looks for a crossover.
Look at the face on board with that number 2 car. We'll get the look to the inside in towards the S's, that chicane section. They will have contact. Now Barry's got to be careful. He can't afford any sort of drama that sees him go up and over, sideways over the jump. Great car control, but Keaton Swain, his championship rival, will steal 4th away from Connor Barry. Killian Delomo will get through as well. Barry gets swamped. Fox around the outside.
Delamo gave a hip check to Connor Berry, and now here comes the other Delamo, Quinton Delamo, to the inside. Goes to show one small mistake with this caliber of field, Arjuna, is going to be crucial. He cannot make any mistakes with that red banner on the top of his windshield. Now 12 points separate for the race, for the lead in the championship, as Keaton Swain now looks for that third spot on Nicholas Dachelet, as around goes the winner from earlier this season here at Bark River, Josh Fox, to the top 5.
Barry will push his way through. A door opened for him to squeeze past Killian Delamo. Now Josh Fox blocks the momentum for the championship leader. A couple of technical issues as we ride on board again with a CBR performance number 2 for Team General Tire. The line starting to migrate higher. We discussed the possibility of the blue groove setting in as the rubber on the tire wears into the dirt. It didn't really play out 3 weeks ago. Doesn't look like it's playing out either. Still not, though, at the halfway mark of this race. There is a long queue that is formed behind Nicholas Dachelet. On board now with the Frenchman of Killian Delamo. Of course, for the Europeans in this championship, they are racing at uncomfortable hours in the morning. In the dead of night, Killian Delamo hunts for 6th.
What is the Altus driver gonna do? How hard is he gonna race the 2 of Connor Berry? Berry, who started 8th after the invert Arjuna, now sits just 2 positions above neutral, and as he's still trying to get by the Pennsylvania native in the Williams Esports entry of Josh Fox. Berry looks to the inside, trying to put a slider, can't do it, as we still ride on board with Delamo. As Delamo gets a shot from behind, that's Connor Retzlaff.
Cody Retzlaff, just correct you there. We are getting, this is so creatively hectic that we are trying to stay on top of our own words. It is more difficult than you'd imagine. There's a look on board with Cody Retzlaff. Nice and focused as through turn 2, they'll go once more for the lead. They're side by side. Felix Roy leans on the Black Star Racing 92 of Tony Latin Mackey. Latin Mackey led for 4.5 odd laps, but on lap 5, Felix Roy hits the front once more with 3.5 seconds of separation, back to 3rd.
And Felix Roy looking for win number 2, trying to join an eclectic group of drivers that have multiple wins this season. He joined the likes of Alex Bergeron, Cam Peterson, he joined Connor Berry, and that is the end of the list of names. Or should add Keaton Swain to that as well. That ends the list of names with multiple wins this season. How about Tony Latin-Maki looking for his first, not only his first win of the season, Arjuna, how about first top 10 finish of the season for the Black Star Racing entry?
I think it is fair to say that for Tony, it's not been easy. He's 30, probably 30 this year, to be honest, given that he was 29 when I was talking to me last year. Represented Jim Beaver Esports in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. Now back, though, with his normal Black Star Racing team, fighting against the team he represented at the top level of sim racing just last year. Lost a bunch of ground, already now slid 6/10 back from the leader, as Felix Roy is starting to make a bit of a breakaway in the championship fight. Let's check back in there. Keaton Swain has not been feeling the need to attack the back of Nicholas Dachelet, at least for the time being. Josh Fox is looking feisty. He's already up 7 spots. Connor Berry quietly up back into 6th. Swain is going to be tracking that number 2 machine.
And I have to say, Nicholas Dachelet in 3rd right now. What a run it is for the number 23 at the current moment. I've seen him really grow as a virtual racer. Only 1 top 10, and it came in race number 2 from here at Bark River earlier this season. But we know Keaton Swain is not going to sit quietly in 4th. He knows that each pass that he makes is 2 more points, and with 14 separating himself and Connor Berry, he either needs the 2 to encounter more problems like he did here at Bark River at the beginning of the season, or Swain just needs to pass more vehicles, and Dachelet is the next one in line.
It is looking increasingly likely that we are going down to the wire, where just 2 drivers will have a chance of fighting at Crandon for a championship. Still some technical issues persisting for Josh Fox. Not currently our CBR hard charger of the race. He's +7. +8 is Nick Larson in the 802, who's worked his way up to 14 spot. On board with a Pennsylvania native. A winner last time at Bark River. What an emotional win it was for him as well. You could tell he was having some trouble just recognizing it wasn't a dream, it was a reality. 4+ years on from that win in Iowa, Fox became a winner again at the World Championship level.
And Josh Fox has really made himself known in this dirt road ladder, specifically in Rallycross, and a lot of those Rallycross converts now coming over to the Off-Road Championship Series for 2022 and having a lot of fun with it as well. I think that was my main takeaway from Josh Fox after that win, was just how much fun he's been having racing this series. But look at who's right back in his rear view mirror. Connor Berry is back in the conversation.
Oh, it's great. These are two drivers, like we said, that have been consistent. The one blip for Barry was just the physical nature of this championship, striking at a moment where he wouldn't want it to have struck. Inside of the top 10 in every other one of the races that we've had so far in this season. Next time across the line will be 3 to go. Proudfoot and Hallman are fighting for 11 outside of the top 10 as Barry goes to the inside on the Williams Esports machine. He knows he's got to start looking forward to close to Keaton Swain. Time running out in race 13 of the championship.
Goes back to the bottom, gives a little bit of a door slam to the number 12 of Josh Fox. They stay clean as they go over the jump now. Moving over to the left-hand side, right back over to the right. Does Barry have room for a crossover? No, he doesn't. A beautiful defense there for the number 12 of Josh Fox, but the power around the outside and back to the inside for Barry. He hits the inside wall. Contact with the 12 of Josh Fox. It's not enough to send the two around like it was here at Bark River earlier in the season, but he gets the pass done on the Williams number 12.
You try that in a rallycross car, you're pointing in the wrong direction, but with the way that these Pro 4 trucks can absorb the contact, Barry throwed the block pass, got it done, was able to work his way forward. But Quintin Dalomo, the disappointing nature of 2022 continues to be the theme of his race. He goes up and over, didn't even look like there was any contact. We talk about the importance of car control in the air as, in effect, you become a glider trying to nurse your way back down to the ground. Felix Roy leads by 1.2. He's comfortably in the controlling seat of this race. Dashley not catching Latin Mackie just yet. Should be settling for the third step of the podium. There is the team general tire. Number 91 of Felix Roy. The Canadian winds his way through to the line once more, coming to 2 to go.
Now on the topic of Quintin Dalomo, Arjuna, we talked about relegation at the top of the show for the World Championship. Well, Dalomo sits 41 points back from Josh Fox in the 12, who is currently on that relegation cut line of P12. He's got Tommy Hallman in front of him, but Dalomo P14, this is not the result that he needed to try and save himself from having to go back to the qualifying series next year. But I love this camera shot with the two championship rivals in Barry and Swain. Swain with just a handful of tenths separating himself and Connor Berry, but Berry's done all that he really needs to do here, Arjuna. 16 points to the good over Keaton Swain. He's not going to outright get more points so far tonight, but he's going to keep that gap manageable with 3 points paying races left after this checkered flag flies.
For Swain, the equation, the algorithm is simple. Beat Connor Barry and beat him by a couple of spots every race. For Barry, it's even simpler. If I finish directly behind the number 21, he cannot win the championship if things stand as they are. Is there still a crucial twist to come in the story of this 2022 Off-Road Championship Series? Have to wait and see. Inside of the top 10, Parisi looks for the look down low on Christopher Plumley. Blocks the line, still fighting in front with Killian Dalomo, Cody Ratzlaff in that pack as well. White flag in hand, it will be 1 lap to go as Plumley will get past on Killian Dalomo.
Great pass on Killian Dalomo there as Connor Parisi also makes a move on Cody Retzlaff in P10, but Felix Roy at the front. What a beautiful race that he has done so far as Proudfoot gets physical with Retzlaff trying to go for a spot in the top 10. Proudfoot has the run to the inside. Can he use him up? No, he cannot. He'll have to settle for P11 currently, as I believe Josh Fox just got turned around off the jump.
Oh, disaster for the Williams Esports car. As you can see, the 12 trying to get onto the throttle and get going once more, emerges just in front of Plumley, Dalomo, Parisi. half a lap to hold on for the Pennsylvanian. The Williams Esports car fighting for all he's worth, but rounding through the final couple of corners for Felix Roy. Stalked Tony Latin-Mackie for 4.5 laps. Pounced on lap number 5, has not looked back since then. For the Canadian, Felix Roy, second victory of this 2022 campaign. What a drive it's been, and focusing on the camera, clearly something else has got his attention.
Second win for Felix Roy. Tony Latin-Mackie, best finish of his career so far in this series. Nicolas Dachelet, best finish for him. Swain makes up a little bit on Connor Berry, but rounding out the top 5, that too did everything that he needed to do. And here is the handstand from Josh Fox. He hits the structure on the outside of that jump and almost goes tumbling over, but just a little bit of a handstand for the number 12. I'm upset he didn't hit the brakes, get that thing into a moonwalk.
Yeah, you said handstand. I didn't truly believe what you were saying. Here is a look at those race results, though, after 11 laps. Felix Roy will grab victory number 2 of the season as he looks to continue building up championship points for the 92 of Tony Latin-Mackie. Not just his best finish of the season, his best World Championship finish in any sort of car. Nicolas Dachelet will get on the podium for the Legion Speed Sport number 23, while for Keaton Swain, the 21 car. 2 points gained on Connor Barry, who finishes right behind him. The championship hopefuls stalking each other neck and neck. Josh Fox, Christopher Plumley, Killian Delomo, and Connor Parisi finish out in the top 9. Cody Retzlaff, the final car inside of that pack of action that we focus on for quite a bit of time. Brandon Proudfoot, Nick Larson right behind them. Tommy Holman won a couple of times this weekend, but this time only good enough to finish inside of 13th, right behind your CBR hard charger, Nick Larson, plus 10 positions to get to 12th. Josh Edmondson flipped on lap 1, finishes 14th with Keith Jeffrey in the Heatwave number 88 behind. Crystal King 16th with Bergeron, Miller, and Grady. The top 20 here today. Just 3 more cars. Cam Peterson had a technical issue before qualifying that saw him start back in the field. Did not move forward. 21st for him. Quinton Delomo, Trenton Briley make up the 23 cars that got underway for the first race here tonight. Get another look on board with Josh Fox as we see the incident that he had. Still 1 race to go, a top 8 invert to mix things up. That's coming up, though, after a message from our friends and today's presenting sponsor, Big Green Egg.
There's a place where fire and flavor are celebrated, where grilling traditions and new techniques are perfected. Here in Big Green Egg Country, you can grill it, roast it, smoke it, or bake it. It's the most versatile grill you'll ever own. Simple to light, easy to use, comes with a free lifetime warranty. Have it delivered to your door by a certified dealer in your community and start enjoying the ultimate cooking experience. Shop online for home delivery at biggreenegg.com. That's biggreenegg.com.
11 laps to go in the rolling hills of Michigan here today. Just 1 more weekend of action to come after this. Let's run you down through today's starting grid, brought to you by CBR Performance Products. It'll be Killian Delomo that brings us to the green alongside Christopher Plumley. The 2 battled hard. They'll do it again, this time at the front. Josh Fox's spin, we'll see him start in 3rd. Connor Barry, the championship leader, alongside him with Keaton Swain, getting 2 points up on Barry in the championship, starting back in 5th. With Dachelet, first podium to his name of the season, starting alongside on row 3. Tony Latin-Mackie, blockbuster performance for him alongside the Canadian Felix Roy. The top 8 invert dropping 1st and 2nd to row 4 in the grid. Connor Parisi, Cody Retzlaff make up the top 10. Brandon Proudfoot and Nick Larson in the 802 Legion Speed Sport machine start in 11th and 12th respectively, while from 13th we'll see Tommy Holman with Josh Edmondson alongside Keith Jeffrey and Crystal King in the Jim Beaver Esports and the Factory Sim Sport 88 and 278. Line up 15th and 16th, while Bergeron rolls 17th. The Terminator alongside him on the outside of row 9, making up the rest of the top 20. We'll see from 19th position, Terry Miller, Tom Grady, his counterpart. Cam Peterson, Quinton Delomo, Trenton Briley, 23 cars locked and loaded for another 11 laps of Championship Series action. And what a crazy start it was, the first race of the evening. If you like this sort of racing, you like the diversity that iRacing is able to provide you here, well, head on over to iRacing.com. New memberships are 40% off. Get started on your road to the virtual checkered flag. Join the world's premier motorsport simulator. It will be Delomo, Plumley at the front of the field, and as I bring back in my broadcast partner in Josh Lee, still trying to catch our breaths from the first race of the evening. Josh, this, I think, is my favorite track on the season. For a lot of the drivers as well, it seems to be quite a fun one for them to try and build up, to try and get the passes done.
And it seems to me like this is really a driver's track. I mean, we talk about the drivers with the best racecraft that we've seen this season. I look at Connor Berry and Keaton Swain, who are the two in a deadlock for the championship lead right now, and I see both of them just being able to make those passes. Not only make those passes, but make those passes cleanly and as quickly as they possibly can. So I think this really is a track that suits our two championship rivals, and it's clearly suits Felix Roy as well, who, by the way, is third in the championship currently.
He did jump in front of Edmondson because of his good result, and we will follow that. But Josh, very quickly, Josh Fox starts third. He's got technical issues. I think you can't look past him, but who's your pick for victory as we get ready to go racing for the final time at Bark River in 2022?
That two machine starting there in row 2 is just too tempting. How many times can I say two in a single sentence? Connor Berry is going to win this thing, I think. But Christopher Plumley, I would not count him out. He has been one of the sleeper picks of the season, and he starts on the pole with everything to defend.
Plumley showed his speed at Bark River last time, third in the second race of the night. But for the 14th time this season, we go racing in the 2022 iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. It's a great start from Delomo, who catches Plumley napping. Josh Fox will slide on through. Barry to third as well. Plumley now defends from Keaton Swain with single file for the top 5 to get race 2 of the night underway.
Plumley, that is the opposite of the start that he wanted. He sits fourth. Gachalet trying to make up spots at the start. He sits P6. Felix Roy is in a battle with Connor Parisi at the edge of the top 8 invert. Cody Retzlaff now battling with Brandon Proudfoot, and Retzlaff with an issue falling down the timing tower.
He looks very slow over the jump. Look at the inside of that turn. A little bit further back, Proudfoot gets a bit of a bump there from Edmondson, who slides on through, but there was a very slow car. Tommy Horman gets the shot from Josh Edmondson. Will hold on, will lose one more spot to the 6 of Proudfoot. I don't know what's really gone on these last 2 weeks or so. The intensity has picked up. The aggression from the drivers has started to increase as well. On board with Tommy Horman, getting bullied. Retzlaff fires it down the inside.
Ooh, and now it's Bergeron now trying to go the inside of all of them, and he hits the inside wall, and another truck goes flipping off and into the pit lane. That's Cody Retzlaff.
Oh, and more!
Incredible wrecks there at the start.
There is something that has changed for the drivers. Something has clicked, and the intensity is ratcheted up. Plumley will now drop, started inside of the front, and now takes the trip off into the grass. You saw him stricken in the middle of your shot a couple of moments ago. Temporary glitch on our timing screen. He drops down to back where he was meant to be. Let's have a look at this sequence. Bergeron gets turned into the wall. Not the first time that we saw that. Not the first time that we saw a car go over the cushion at the side of the wall and flip over as well. Then, for the 48 of Edmondson, rolled but landed on all 4 wheels. Chaos on lap 1.
That was Cam Peterson that ended up with that epic save there going through the last couple of corners, and it was Alex Bergeron who went for a slider 3 wide, by the way, to the inside, and ended up hitting that inside retaining wall that right there especially, it jets out in that grass, and it is not forgiving as Barry looks to the inside of Josh Fox. Killian Delomo trying to pull away at the front, and oh, by the way, trying to go for his first win of the season after a string of top 5 finishes.
Keaton Swain, how close do you want to get to your championship rival? That was a send and a half. I'll leave it at that. Working lap 3 of 11. A long way to go. Barry and Swain don't have teammates around them for company. In front, it's a Williams eSports car. In front, it's an Altus eSports car. So for Connor Barry, riding by himself, the Team General tire number 2 for Keaton Swain, riding in the factory Simsport number 21. They've got to do it themselves in races this short, this frenetic. Knowing the target going into the race is equally important as being able to adapt as the chaos erupts around you, Josh.
And we take a look at those live standings now. How about Connor Berry and Keaton Swain's gap. It goes to 18 points as Latinmaki and Roy fight for P6. You can see how now Felix Roy's up to third, the 18 of Killian Delamo, current race leader, up to fourth, and Josh Edmondson, with that issue on the opening lap of race number 1 tonight, drops all the way to P5. Remember, at the end of tonight, anybody outside of 100 points is mathematically eliminated from this championship. That'll only cut off Connor Parisi, and we're really only watching the top 2 anyway.
Yeah, we like to enjoy the possibility that Edmondson, maybe Roy, can spoil the surprise, but it's starting to come down to the wire for just 2. 24 started, 2 left standing. What a season it's been for them. On board with Edmondson. And you see the virtual reality for him. We've seen his teammate Cam Peterson. Not just virtual reality, but motion as well. I saw a great little video on YouTube today where a simulator company has gone to the wall. They have created a motion sim that then is integrated inside of the chassis of a real pro truck. They've had to build a door instead of clambering in through the window netting. They've got virtual reality. It really exposes why we love sim racing. Yes, maybe it's not exactly like real racing, but we look at the resumes of these drivers, we look at how they prepare for the races, Josh. There's so much that carries over, there's so much that crosses over, and that's why for Connor Berry, coming off a weekend where he's just gotten some laps in at the real Bark River, he'll take that to the sim, he'll build up confidence, he knows what he does works, whether it's real or virtual.
And the work that these World Championship drivers put in. I mean, in real life, you have maybe a handful of practice sessions. In the Formula One side, you know, just a little bit over an hour for each of those free practice sessions. You can clock in almost an unlimited amount of hours, as many hours as you want to clock in the sim. You can do that. You can put in the reps, and that's exactly what the drivers in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup, the Off-Road Championship Series here, the World of Outlaws Late Model Series. They all put in countless hours of work, and for Keaton Swain and Connor Berry, they're both in a deadlock fight to try and make it all pay off and be the first ever championship of this series, as Berry taking it one race at a time, just trying to get by Josh Fox now for P2.
Remember, we talked to Berry 7 days ago after his win, his return to the top step of the podium, and he said it's also all about the family support that he gets, being able to have both a real program and a virtual program. He'll go aggressive on Josh Fox. I don't think the move forthcoming just yet, but you see the paces there for Berry. While he was competing last week at the Wild West Motorsports Park, virtually at home, his family, I think he said his father and his uncle, already at Bark River, preparing the car for him to go racing that weekend. So it's a family affair. It's about having that support. And in this new generation of young motorsports, I guess, and as drivers build their way up, sim racing is now an option, no matter what discipline you are in. Look at the control in the air as well. Still just trying to look for the opportunity. Josh Fox has seen it all, is not giving this one up without a fight.
And Connor Berry now with a crossover goes to the inside. Remember, this is very quickly going to turn into the outside line through the right-hander right off of this jump. Can Connor Berry go for the crossover move? We've seen this happen many a times before here in this corner. He cannot get it done, and the 21 of Keaton Swain is seeing all this out of his windshield, and he's just thinking, how on earth am I going to try and get around all these drivers? Because that's basically what Swain needs to do now, as Berry tries to go back to the inside of Josh Fox for P2. DeLomo runs away with the race lead, and Swain, 18 points back from Berry, needs as many positions as he can. He can only go 3 positions forward, but Berry can go a lot of spots back.
Not seeing these guys be dropped by Killian Delamo. Yes, they are fighting side by side and having their moments as we look backwards with the big green egg onboard look. Josh Fox sees Connor Berry continuing to try to attack, harass the rear end of the Pro 4 truck. Delamo not being allowed to run away just yet. What a great view this is. See the weights of the car shifting around at the rear as they work through the turns, work over the jumps as well. Swain closes up as well. It stays like this. It all goes down to what happens at Crandon. And what happened at Crandon It was a last corner, last lap pass as Connor Barry pushed Keaton Swain out of the way at the end of race meeting number 1. Imagine if the championship comes to the last lap, to the last corner, as we head back to Crandon next Wednesday on the iRacing Esports Network.
And now in this race from Bark River, as we sit with just about 4 laps
Fox goes around!
Contact with Barry and Fox, and that'll turn the 12 around. Swain, in all the mess, goes to P2, Barry down to P3.
I wonder if the technical issues of Josh Fox contributed to not just this spin, but the one that he had in race 1 of the evening as well. You saw for a moment, disappeared out of existence. For Connor Barry, it's the uncertainty of, can I commit? Where is that car going to be placed once he reappears in my vision? The answer was too close for comfort. Fox goes around from second to 8th, goes the Williams Esports number 12. There go the chances of a second career victory. But like Josh mentioned, Keaton Swain saw the seas part and like Moses sailed his way through to second.
But in the live points, Arjuna, that did not help out Swain enough. 14 points now the difference. That's 3 less than the 17 points when we came into tonight. But going into Crandon, I know both Connor Barry would like a little bit more points as a cushion, and I know Keaton Swain would like to make up 14 points tonight and be leading going into the finale. They now have 1.3 seconds to try and find to get up to the 18 of Killian DeLalmo.
14 points is 7 spots in terms of track positioning. As we head into that final race meeting, of course, include the 5 bonus points that you can get for qualifying on pole position as well. There are still many permutations of this championship left to be explored. DeLalmo 1.7 clear. For Swain and Barry, the chance to fight for victory sure is tempting, but consolidation, getting points on the board, equally important. And for Nicholas Dashalet, just 1 top 10 finish coming into this week. He's looking for double podiums, looking on with the 23, riding in 4th.
How aggressive is he going to be with a championship rival in front of him? Well, I guess we're going to find out, because he gives a shot to the back bumper of the number 2 of Connor Barry. Beautiful onboard with the number 23. 2 to go this time by Arjuna. They all ride that outside berm. To the inside goes Dashalet. We are seeing speed out of the 23 tonight that we have not seen all season long, as he sees both the championship rivals in front. Dashalet also fighting to be saved from relegation, as he has about 50 points to try and make up tonight and at Crandon.
Side by side for second again. Barry still just trying to put more discomfort, more doubt into the mind of the 21 in Keaton Swain. Bit of a shot there from Dashalet, reminding Barry that he's still there. 2 laps to go at the line last time by. The gap to DeLalmo is closed, but it's not closing fast enough. If he can maintain this pace, can maintain this tempo, if they fight for second, victory is all but guaranteed. Barry again looks down low. Into the whoop section they go, and not alongside. Dashalet again forcing Barry forward.
White flag this time. They come across the start-finish line, and Killian DeLalmo in the lead to the tune of about 1.3 seconds. Dashalet trying to go the long way around now as he makes contact with the 2 of Connor Barry through the left-hander. Nothing any of these drivers can do. They sit single file, and here comes race number 1 winner Felix Roy to make it even more interesting.
He's been patient. There's that white flag. 1.5 miles left for Killian DeLalmo to hold on to race victory number 1 in his World Championship career. The fight for second has devolved into a 4-way brawl. Dashalet searching for double podiums. Felix Roy looking to get back onto the podium after a victory just about 20 minutes ago. For Swain and Barry, there is a championship left on the line. For Dashalet and Roy, surely, Josh, they're thinking about that. They don't want to be the catalyst that blows this championship wide open.
But they still want all the possible points they can get, and they still want to race for positions on the track. Can Barry get by Keaton Swain? He looks like it might be a little bit too late for the two. How aggressive is Barry willing to get? Remember, he leads by 14 points. Does he want a bigger gap? He can add 2 points to that here as they go through the left-hander. Barry to the bottom, not gonna have enough momentum as the checker flag will fly this time.
Just a couple of corners to go, and while Roy can get past Dashley, I think Barry is too far behind Swain, and as we saw, yes, not even within a chance of throwing it for the battle in second. For the lead, though, it's delight for Killian Delomo. What a rough 2022 it's been for the Delomo family. Killian has been willing to get the elbows out. Today, though, drove away at the front of the field, tastes victory for the first time in his young World Championship career. For Altus and for their young gun in Killian Delomo, the future looks bright.
Top five finishes this season. One of the most consistent drivers that we have had. 4th place in the points, and he can finally say that he is an iRacing Off-Road Championship Series winner.
He will celebrate with his spotter, Bo Albert, who has been guiding his young charge in the ways that a World Championship will mentally challenge and mentally frustrate a driver. For Killian, who has had his share of critics for his physicality, he will silence them today. 1.6 clear at the front of the field, a winner in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. What a day it was for him, leading as well at the end of lap 1 to win the Big Green Egg Green Flag Award for race 2 of the night. Keaton Swain and Connor Barry, again, chipping away at the gap is Keaton Swain, but Connor Barry will head to Crandon in the lead of the championship, in control of his destiny. For Felix Roy, what a day it was as he solidified 3rd in the championship in front of Nicholas Dashley with a podium and a 5th place. May not be totally out of the battle to stay in the championship for 2023 in that Legion Speed Sport number 23. Connor Parise in front of his Jim Beaver Esports teammate of Josh Edmondson, while Josh Fox slips to 8th after 2 incidents in 2 races today. Tommy Holman 9th in the iRacing.com privateer entry. Brandon Proudfoot completes the top 10. Tony Latin-Mackie, what a day it's been. First, finishing inside of the podium spots in race 1, and then 11th, good points on the board for the Black Star Racing 92. Keith Jeffries 12th in front of Tom Grady in the 535, with Crystal King, Terry Miller 14th and 15th positions. Quintin Delomo, saw him have a moment earlier, get 16th, but he will be delighted for his younger brother that helped him on his entry into sim racing as the 22 finishes 16th. Bergeron, Briley, Larson, and Tyson Miller make up the rest of the top 20, while Peterson, Plumley, Retzlaff, the 23 that started this race. If you're new to this series, we are so glad you joined us from Bark River. By far one of the most technical, by far one of the most entertaining Championship Series locations. Next week is the final week. It comes down to 20 laps at the Crandon Raceway. We will see how things play out. Before we head down to the CBR Winners Circle, before we get our post-race coverage underway, Josh Lee, let's talk about what we saw, which was, yes, plenty of fighting up and down through the field, but with our eyes locked in on Keaton Swain and on Connor Barry, the 2 stepped up and the 2 delivered lockstep all the way through the night.
And tonight just really solidified that duo as the top duo in iRacing off-road competition. And what it also did, which I think is more important, is it really showed how equal both of these drivers are. Swain only made up 3 points. He has a lot of work to do with only 2 points paying rounds left.
We'll talk about next week before we wrap things up, but while we wait for Killian Delomo to stop the victory celebrations instead, let's head over to CBR Winners Circle for race number 1, where for the second time in 2022 we talked to Felix Roy as a winner in this championship. Felix, a great day for you, a good performance, stalking Tony Latin-Mackie until halfway through the race. When you got the lead, you didn't look back from then. You solidified 3rd in the championship. You must be feeling quite good heading out of tonight. Felix, unfortunately, seems to have muted his mic. We'll see a look of maybe expectation on his face. We'll see if we can get our wires back in order. Live broadcasting, things will happen. We will let Felix try and get those issues sorted out. In the meantime, he has joined us, so now we'll switch over to the young Killian Dell'Uomo for Altus Esports, now a World Championship winner. Killian, we saw the pump of the fist. We saw how revved up you were about this win. I know it's early in the morning for you, but your adrenaline must be pumping through your veins.
End of the world. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. This work is with the win. It's awesome. It's awesome.
You had an interesting crossover from the Rallycross. You made about half the features that you competed in the Rallycross World Championship. It's not like where you were slow, but you've really picked up the pace, picked up the intensity this season. What's it like working with Altus? What's it been like having someone like Bo Albert trying to help you through the World Championship mindset?
So yeah, Bo is Rallycross, me also. It's really different. I have joined Altus, and it's an objective to come on the broadcast, and we are really happy to have the pace, and it's deserved.
I want to ask you about the friendly rivalry that you and your brother have between the two of you. When we talked before the Rallycross World Championship last year, you mentioned how you kind of helped him get used to sim racing, and it was good to compete against each other. How does that dynamic play out now when you compete at this level of sim racing, the very top, when there's prizes on the line? Killian, do you have a copy with us?
Wait, can you repeat?
Just asking you what it's like in the family dynamic as you battle in a championship with your brother.
Yeah, my brother is unlucky, but we work a lot between, and we try the best always.
It is an early morning, a late night, depending on how you look at it for Killian Dell'Uomo, but it was worth it. He is a winner in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. Congratulations, Killian. We'll see how the season ends for you next Wednesday.
Thank you.
A rather tired Killian Dell'Uomo. You could hear it in his voice, but you could also hear that unmistakable jubilation that only a victory can bring. Now, we head back over to Felix Roy, where hopefully we're joined by the Jim Beaver Esports Team General Tire Car. I can hear him. Here we go. Felix, how are you feeling right now?
Oh, man, you can't really feel better than that. Got my best results of all year long, and P1 and P4. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy.
For you, solidifying third in the championship, it must be good for you. When you reflect on the season that you've had, is there anything that you think, okay, that's a moment that I could have done differently to be fighting for the championship this year?
Yeah, definitely. Last time at Bark River, I think I got like P10 and P14, and Wild West last week, we didn't have a good results too, but tonight we're getting them points back, and really happy about it.
We know you like your dirt stuff. World of Outlaws competition has been picking up as well of late the last couple of weeks. How busy are you these times as you try and balance all your various commitments in sim racing?
Yeah, fortunately, I missed the first 2 weeks of the World of Outlaw Late Model Series, but I'll be there Monday and all the rest of the year. I had real life racing stuff, so I couldn't race on the sim, but I really, for real, I'm racing one time a week, and it's on Wednesdays and Mondays to practice, so I don't really get tons of practice, and I don't know if it hurts my game, but yeah, I don't know.
One final question and I'll let you go. What were you doing with your camera at the end of race one?
Yes, that's the thing. On the pace lap of race one, I clicked on something on Zoom, and I think it kicked me out or something, and I was mad about it because we're on the pace lap and I couldn't get it fixed back. So I tried to put it as soon as I won, put the camera back. But yeah, I'm sorry about that.
You got me confused. I thought there was something wrong in your household. Glad to hear it was just a self-inflicted mistake. Congratulations on your second win of the season, Felix. Good luck this coming Monday as you return to the World of Outlaw scene, and we'll see you in our championship showdown in 7 days' time.
Thank you, guys, and I'd like to thank my sponsor, Case Close Royale, and Apex Gaming, and everyone. Would like to thank you guys for the good broadcast and every fellows from Quebec that's watching me. Thank you guys.
Quebec's own Felix Roy, a winner again in your 2022 iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. And then there were 20 laps left. Back to Crandon, back to where it all began 7 days from now on August 10th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. It is your championship showdown of the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. How are we going to enter Crandon, you ask? Well, ask no more. Let's have a look at the championship standings. It is just 2 that stand at the top, but the gap is looking inviting. If you're Connor Barry, it's a gap that Joshua Lee, you're somewhat comfortable with. If you're Keaton Swain, it's the type of gap where you know anything is possible in one of the wildest championships across of motorsports.
I think the easiest way to sum it up is Connor Barry is nervous about those 14 points because he doesn't think it's enough, and Keaton Swain is looking at those 14 points like it's 140 points. Swain has a lot of work to do. All Barry needs to do is stay around the number 21 at Keaton Swain. Sounds easy, but remember the last time we were at Crandon, it was all bets off, but Barry did walk away with one of those 2 wins. It's gonna be interesting with everything on the line. How are these 2 fellow competitors and friends off the racetrack going to fight each other?
And I will highlight Cam Peterson again, another round where technical issues were prevalent, and for him, he's going to finish inside of the top 10, but marginally. There is the battle for relegation. Yes, there are some car numbers missing, but Jacob Raffos is in the bubble spot right now, about 19 clear of Tommy Holman, a further 30 clear of Nicholas Dachalet, that 23 car. This was the day, Josh Lee, if you were going to pick up the pace, that you had to do it.
And for Tommy Hallman now going into Crandon, he's on the outside looking in. It's going to be a rough one for Nicholas Dachalet. He's going to need 2 races exactly like he had tonight to make it into that top 12. And Jacob Raffos, Josh Fox, and everybody in that top 10 looking pretty comfortable right now in the top 12 to run this again in year 2. But down from there, I mean, some great names. How about Quinton DeLalmo not in that top 12? Cody Retzlaff, Crystal King, Keith Jeffrey. They're all going to have to look at the qualifying series for 2023.
What a fun qualifying series it would be as well. So remember, Crandon in a week's time, another 1.5 mile short track. It is our season finale, and whenever you go to the final of anything, there is a different mindset that you go in with. It's the realization that this is the final chance that I get to make a statement, to make sure people know who I am. And the land rush start, Josh, when a championship is on the line, you've got to be hoping for Swain, for Barry, just to stay out of trouble, let alone make up positions.
That land rush start is going to be intense. You thought the starts here at Bark River were intense right after the start-finish line, having a jump there. How about funneling a lane 10 trucks wide into about the normal space of a normal E-short course track into turn 1 at Crandon off the land rush? Oh, it's going to be exciting. Not only are we going back to Crandon, which is a driver and a fan favorite, we're going to crown the first ever iRacing off-road champion.
The history books will have its final chapter written for the 2022 iRacing Off-Road Championship Series in 7 days' time. Do remember, World Championship action across of iRacing is underway. It's a busy time. Next Monday, it is World of Outlaws butt kicker late model time at Eldora as they get set for round 3 of their championship. Qualifying for the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup continues to rumble on this weekend as they get set to go to the Styrian Mountains to the Red Bull Ring, and we get set to crown champion number 1. 7 days from today, one will stand tall, your champion of the 2022 iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. We thank a Big Green Egg for presenting today's coverage, and on behalf of the team at iRacing, on behalf of the team at RaceSpot TV, delighted to have your company this Wednesday as we gear ourselves up for the championship showdown. On behalf of Hugo Luis, for Joshua Lee and myself, Arjuna Kangipati, we bid you farewell from the rolling hills of Michigan. We'll see you to crown a champion in 7 days from Crandon. So long and goodbye.